Hey everybody, this is Brother Jake Fry. I'm the pastor of Emmanuel Baptist Church, and I'm here to bring you the midweek word for this week. This week, I want to talk with you about something that I've been really excited about lately, and I hope maybe this will spark some excitement in you as well. Um, I think there is a general, um, maybe fear, or maybe fear is not the right word, but intimidation about Christians reading and studying the book of Revelation. I want to talk about that for just a moment and explain to you today why we shouldn't be afraid of it. I remember when I first started college, freshman at college, that very first year, first semester, and I was in a class, and a teacher came and basically told me everything that I had ever been taught about Jesus coming back again was wrong, except for the one fact that Jesus was coming back. And I remember not really necessarily, I wouldn't say I changed my views, but the fact that the way that they talked about it really just took the wind out of my sails. At that point, leading up to that point, I'd always been pretty excited about talking about Jesus coming again and us being with him, and the book of Revelation was always really interesting to me. But after that, I remember, um, I don't want to say that I wasn't excited anymore, but in my mind, it was just like, well, it's just, I don't know, it's just so complicated. Um, I'm just going to trust that Jesus is coming back and not worry about the details. And so, there are all these different um, isms when it comes to when Jesus is going to come back again. There's premillennialism, amillennialism, postmillennialism. And I remember, making the joke, I'm a panmillennialist because I think it's all going to pan out in the end. And I get that sentiment, right? Because there's a sense in which the book of Revelation is prophecy, and um, we're probably going to find out when we finally are with the Lord that there were some things that we didn't quite understand correctly because it hasn't happened yet. But what I want to do today is encourage you not to be intimidated to read and study the book of Revelation. And the reason for that is because of the first three verses of the book. And this has actually encouraged me to study Revelation on my own, in my own devotional time. So I hope this will help you too. So we're just going to look at Revelation 1, verses 1 through 3, and hear the word of the Lord this morning. The revelation of Jesus Christ, which God gave him to show to his servants the things that must soon take place. He made it known by sending his angel to his servant John, who bore witness to the word of God and to the testimony of Jesus Christ, even to all that he saw. Here's what I want you to listen to, verse 3. Blessed is the one who reads aloud the words of this prophecy. Blessed are those who hear and who keep what is written in it, for the time is near. So I think it's very interesting here that we read, and maybe you've heard this before. I think it's very interesting that at the very beginning of a book that is filled with the wrath of God being poured out on the world and judgment, and imagery of dragons and writing about the lake of fire. But before all this, at the very beginning of this book, we're promised a blessing by studying this. And you see why it was given. God gave this revelation to Jesus, so the Father gave this revelation to the Son, um, to show his servants, that means us, the things that must soon take place. Now, that's not to say that the Son is any less God and the Son doesn't know what the Father knows. That's not what this is. But as far as function goes, the Father gives this to the Son, and the Son is the one who presents this to us in the Trinity. But it was given to us so that we can know the things that will soon take place. But then we're told in verse 3 that there are three blessings here. We're blessed when it's read aloud, which I think would refer to those who would preach it publicly and read it publicly. I think it's a blessing if you would read it yourself at home. Um, Blessed are those who hear. So, again, those who would hear it publicly in the church as a congregation. I think a congregation would be blessed by having this book preached to them, but also you'd be blessed by hearing and reading it at home. And those who keep what is written in it. And that's what makes the reading and the hearing worthwhile. You can read and hear anything, but if you keep it in your heart, that's what makes the difference. And this is what this is talking about: is if we read and hear these things and we trust that these things are true, what Jesus has given us is the truth of events that are going to happen in the future surrounding his coming. And the Bible tells us that if we trust these things and read these things and hear these things, there is a blessing that comes with that because the time is near. Now, you won't see that in any other book of the Bible. Now, of course, we get a blessing out of reading other books of the Bible, don't we? I'm greatly blessed when I read the Psalms. I'm blessed when I read the different accounts in the Old Testament of how God worked and the people of Israel. I'm blessed when I read the theological truths that Paul writes about in his letters. Of course, we're blessed when we read in the Gospels about the life and ministry of Jesus. Of course, that's true. But here we're told that there is a specific blessing about reading the book of Revelation. So no wonder then that Satan wants us to feel intimidated or scared about reading the book of Revelation. Well, friend, if you are in Jesus Christ, there's no reason to be afraid, because this book teaches us who are in Jesus that we're going to be protected during this time, and we're going to live face to face with him. He will be our God and we will be his people. Now, what if I'm not a Christian? Should I be afraid? Well, some of these things should probably scare you when you read it, but there's still a blessing for you, because as you read this, I believe that Jesus will use it to draw you closer to him. So, let me ask you, have you been thinking about reading the book of Revelation, but you just weren't sure about it? Maybe you weren't sure where to start or what to do. Let me just give you a few tips on this, and this is just something to think about. The best thing to do when it comes to reading the book of Revelation is to just pray. Pray as you read it, pray before you read it, and just write down your thoughts. Now, doesn't mean all your thoughts are going to be correct, but it's better than not reading it at all. So you just got to start and dive in. There are all kinds of great Bible studies, study helps to help you along as you work through those. And if you'd be interested in some of those, send me a message and I'll be happy to get you in touch with some of those resources. But don't be afraid of the book of Revelation, because this is a revealing of who Jesus is and what he's going to do for his people. And so we'll be blessed by reading it. So don't be intimidated. Instead, dive in and be blessed. This has been the Midweek Word for this week. Hope it's been a bit of an encouragement to you. And Lord willing, I will talk to you next week on the Midweek Word. Thank you.